Hello, and thank you for watching Scumbag Customs. In this video, I'm going to show you how to magnetize the thermic plasma conduits and the thermic plasma regulators from the Games Workshop Sector Mechanicus scenery kits. Before I start, let's have a quick look at the magnets that I'm going to use in this video. I'm going to use some 15 times 2mm magnets that I found on eBay, as well as some 16 times 2mm magnets that I bought at a local discount store. These magnets have a little bit of a rounded edge rather than the straight edge on these magnets. Now it's very important that you use magnets that are strong enough. They are not going to be connected directly, but they're going to be connected through the plastic. So it's important that they are strong enough. Let's start with a simple basic pipe. If we open it up, you can kind of see that it has some space in there. Kind of like it's made for a magnet to go in there. And what do you know, the 15mm magnet fits in there perfectly. So even without glue, it doesn't go anywhere. But I'd recommend to glue them in anyway. For this, I like to use some Loctite superglue, which is available at least in Europe and here in Japan. I like to use the gel form because it just gives me a bit of easier control. Just put a little bit of glue in there and put the magnet in. Now I don't want to glue it closed yet, but just to make sure that it's in the correct space, just put it like that and give it some time to dry. If you've given your magnet enough time to dry in there, I mean the glue, you can go for the other side. Now you have to think about what you want to do polarity wise, because they will either attract to each other or they will push each other away. I like to kind of put them the same direction, so you can make a very long line, and it makes you worry a bit less on how you can stick your terrain together. So very easy, just going to repeat this. Put some glue in here this time. You don't need a lot, it's just to make sure it stays in place. Always good to keep checking your polarity. And again, just put it in there. And if you want, you can immediately glue the whole pipe tight. Kind of make sure you squeeze it together nice and neatly so you don't have huge gaps. And again, leave some time to dry. And once your first one is dried up, it kind of becomes a little bit like some production work, so you can move on to your second pipe. Again, you can use the first one you make to check the polarity of the magnets to make sure they go the way you want. And you can already see that they will stick together. Or not. Some of the pipes come with this little bit sticking out of the side where you can attach this little part. If you open it up, you can see there's a very nice shape to put a magnet inside. You can use the 15mm magnets, but if you manage to source them, I really like to use the 16mm rounded off one. It just seems to fit in there perfectly. Before you start, just make sure you use the polarization in the way you want it to, so it will connect better with your other pieces. So a little glue in there. I always like to double check and just put it in there. And when the glue is dried up, it is time to magnetize this little bit. And as you can see, even without direct contact, it works pretty well. In some cases, it might be that you would like to connect your pipes like this, to have them either run next to each other or on top of each other. When you want to do something like this, make sure you check the polarity. So this time we needed to go the opposite way so that these parts attract each other. Once the glue is set, you can see that this one goes with this part, but this one doesn't. Which means that if you want to use a part like that, you'll have to make a new one to line up the polarities. So let's give that a quick try before we move on to some other parts. And as you can see, even those parts will line up. And when we have a look at all the other parts, we can see it's pretty much all straightforward and similar to the normal pipes. Just keep in mind the polarity of your magnets. If there's a specific way you want them to go, if there's a specific part you want to go with another specific part, just make sure that they attract each other. But other than that, it doesn't really matter which way they go. Because of the way we set up the pipes, there will always be one side that can attract the other side. And there should be enough pipes to make any kind of layout you might want to use. Okay, so I'm going to continue gluing all these small parts and get back to you when I finished. I have glued all my pipes, so it is time to move over to the regulators. Unfortunately, the shapes in these guys have not been perfectly made for the magnets that I'm using, but I think it will be easy enough to line them up perfectly. I have decided to make the magnets push each other out, so rather than going like this, I want them to go opposite directions like that. So let's give that a try. Make sure you use enough glue because the surface is not completely flat. Not sure where it will grip exactly. Now, a little thing we can do to cheat is use a different magnet on the outside. So hopefully, if we keep this perfectly centered on, then hopefully this one will go into a perfect position. That seemed to have worked. So we're just going to let the glue set and do the other sides. So I'm going to use the same trick on the other side. I have another piece that I know is set the other direction. So that should work. Make sure to use enough glue. And let's go again. And we are going to do the same for the second regulator. Once all your glue has been set, you are ready to go to the painting table. Now, just a little extra advice. Please put on some extra art coat or clear coat, especially on the points where the pipes will connect, so that the paint doesn't scratch off too easily when you use it. That is all for this video. If you have any questions, please leave a comment. To support my channel, please subscribe and leave a thumbs up on this video.